Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Adventures in the Forgotten Realms draft here on the channel. Before I dive in, I do want to remind you that if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe for more content. And without further ado, let's dive on in. If you want to catch me streaming live, you can check it out at twitch.tv/NicolaiBolas. Ooh, long rest. So, green, X. Return X cards with different mana values from your graveyard to your hand. If 8 or more cards, your life total becomes equal to your starting life total. I really like the flavor of this one because the way a long rest works is if you rest for 8 hours, then you get fully refreshed. And so this is if you have 8 or more cards. This one seems pretty solid to me. If you do it for like 6, you get back 3 different cards a lot of the time, which is a pretty powerful late game engine. Let's see if there's anything else in the pack, though. We'll hover that for now. There is Targnar, which is a pretty good card as well. Just a nice little aggressive creature. Being able to get +2/+2 for only 4 mana, or potentially more if he's got an equipment or something on him, is nice. Happen on a Glade is reasonable as well. Priest is nice. This card seems a little bit slower to me. I'd rather probably just take the Priest, because Priest just does what it does every time and is cheaper. And this card is pretty okay at 7 mana, but I'd rather just get a cheaper card earlier. The more expensive cards are more replaceable generally. So we're going to start with Priest of Ancient Lore. Following that up, taking another Priest is very appealing, starting off with a very strong start to a white deck, getting 2 Priests. There's also a Barbarian class if I wanted to go for blue-red. I think it's only playable in blue-red. It is a really good combo with Hoarding Ogre, because if you have all 3 modes enabled, you then get to play the Hoarding Ogre, attack, roll a dice. It gets +2/+0 and menace, and because it has haste, you can do it immediately. But that combo is not something I'm going to hope to play outside of blue-red anyway. There's a couple blue-red cards here. This is good in dice rolling. This is good in dice rolling. The rare is missing, so not a huge signal point. You Meet in the Tavern is also a nice card. I think worse than Priest overall. The Ranger's Hawk is a weird card. I think tapping another creature is just a huge cost on that one. But I'm going to take the Priest. It's the best card in the pack, and it matches my first color. We could still abandon white, but this is a strong start. Okay, now in this pack there is a Celestial Unicorn, which does go well with the Priest of Ancient Lore, but I don't really want to just go like all out on the white cards because it could just be I opened a good white card, got past like a good white card because they took a good rare that happened to be white, and then I just hose myself by going triple white card, and they're all 3-drops too. So I think the Unicorn's not really where I want to end up here. The Yuan-Ti Fangblade is actually really good as well. It's like a nice body that can attack well and start the venturing, and black-white is pretty interested in venture. There's also You Come to a River, which is a card that I like as well. It's just very flexible. Having access to one is really nice. You can even bounce your own creatures. And then Grim Wanderer is pretty cool too. But I think I'm going to take the Yuan-Ti Fangblade. I think it's much more powerful than the Unicorn in its own right. I don't love the weaponry. This card's reasonable. I think I like this over the Wanderer, over the You Come to River, over the Unicorn. Branching into a second color doesn't scare me. Oh, this is another. Wow, what a pack. So there is a Feywild Trickster for if I wanted to play. It's fine even just in a blue deck if you have enough right dice rolling, but it's much better if you have some dice rolling going on in blue-red specifically. The Green Dragon is a reasonable card. It's a bit expensive, and it's not in my colors that I currently have, so I'm not going to take it here, but it's a solid card. There is another Priest, which I like. There's also Cloister Gargoyle, which is really nice if I am into this venturing deck. Precipitous Drop is also nice, or I could just take Priest of Ancient Lore and just stay flexible. I think I would rather just do that. This card's good, don't get me wrong, but it's good in like a very specific deck, whereas Priest is good in every deck, similar with Precipitous Drop. And I might just not end up in black. I only have 1 black card. Priest is like, you just can never have too many, I feel like. Okay, so now there's another interesting spot. I'm pretty committed to white at this point. It seemed decently open. I've gotten a few white cards. Black is also seeming relatively open. We're seeing a few good black cards here. All 3 of these are pretty reasonable. The Eltergard Ranger is decent. I don't love You Find Some Prisoners. And then, but Lightfoot Rogue, 2 mana 2/1, that's a decent attacker. The Fangblade, another 3-drop is kind of hard to justify when I have 4 3-drops already, and presumably I'll get a couple more over the course of the draft. And then there's also the Shambling Gas, which is a nice defensive creature. Kind of want to take the Shambling Ghast. This card's much better if you're more attack focused. This card can kind of fit into any deck. That's, yeah, I like the Yuan-Ti Fangblade, but I already have a ton of 3-drops, and you can get really glutted at that spot on the curve. You Meet in a Tavern's a pretty solid card. I already have all creatures, and so I've just played green-white. I could see that working out. I could also take one of these blue cards. I don't think you Contact Other Plane always goes well with the Priest, but blue-white control could certainly be a place I end up. You Come to River's also nice as well. Good flexibility there. But we see a lot of green cards in this pack, and You Can Meet in a Tavern is pretty powerful. The +2/+2 is really nice with all the creatures. So if I play green-white or something. So we'll speculate on that. And now there's a Dungeon Crawler. So maybe black-white is where I'm going to end up. There's also a Genie Windseer. Feign Death is actually pretty good with Priest of Ancient Lore, but I can hopefully get one of those later. I also like the Baleful Beholder, but I'm just going to take the Dungeon Crawler here. I'm going 2/1 Tribal. Now there's a Zombie Ogre, so if my stuff is dying, I can venture. There's a Hired Hexblade. I actually kind of am into +2 Mace here, because I have so many random 2/1s running around, and I'm going to be able to gain some life to stabilize with the Priests, and just making them 4/3s is pretty nice. The Ranger's Hawk is not my favorite card, though it could be okay, and I do kind of want to try it at some point. The Hexblade, I'm not going to have the treasure to enable it. I think it's between the Hawk and the Mace, and I'm going to go with the Mace. A little bit punished there because we immediately get a Mace. We also got the Long Rest back in case we want to keep the options open on green. I don't love Gloomstalker here. There's a Basilisk or just another Mace. So white is looking like where I want to be. I could see just taking this, keeping my green options open. I'm going to do that. And then we get You Happened on a Glade. Pretty reasonable card. Don't really want to play that guy. I'll take... I'm not going to play Shocking Grasp either. So we kind of end up towing the line here. You Find a Cursed Idol is a card that I'd rather sideboard, so I'll just take the Fates. We could either go white or white-black, or maybe green-white would even be better. Huh. Well, we opened up an absurd red card, which is kind of the worst color for us to open up a card in. I don't even think we have a single red card. Wow, that's kind of unlucky in terms of the card we could have opened, but we do have 3 of the Priests. Maybe white isn't open and I just value Priest way higher than everybody else. That's also an option. But if that's the case, I could maybe even get more Priests. And so, I don't know. It could work out. I do like this Planar Ally. Meteor Swarm is really good, but I'm not going to take it. I can't switch into red, I don't think. My cards... I didn't get deep enough into any single color to justify it. Tribe Hunter's also pretty good. I'm just going to take the Planar Ally. I could see myself playing either green-white or black-white. Open hand, reasonable. Barrowin is pretty reasonable. Here's something I'll watch. There's also an Owlbear. So this is kind of the decision point here. We were getting a lot of green cards at the end of that pack. And we had only a Fangblade. So I think we're going to take the Owlbear. Like, we have a lot of pretty solid... Like, we got... Yeah, we like third pick this or something. I think we're going to go for green-white. Seeing a Barrowin is interesting. We have a lot of good stuff for green-white. We have 8 creatures, so this You Meet in a Tavern is great. And getting an Owlbear is good. I'm just taking as many priests as I can get. Underdark Basilisk is reasonable. I'm glad I took that one. And Mace is pretty reasonable with some of my cards as well. Hoping not to play the Moon Druid. Hoping not to play the Gloomstalker either. I don't think this card's very good. It's very life-intensive. Planar Ally or Steadfast Paladin. So it's like 2-drop or 5-drop. I know that 2-drops are really important, but I really want to just try playing this card. I think it could be very, very effective. I already have 2 5-drops, though. I don't think my deck is particularly fast, though, so I'm just going to take it. I like that it can kind of take over the game. I kind of value that on my card. I got a 2-drop there. I could also take Temple. I'm not sure there's a +2 Mace deck. So the Dawnbringer Cleric, which just has some nice synergy, gives me some outs against enchantments. I'm not going to take another Mace. I might not even play this first Mace. And then Green Dragon is a nice top-end card. But I do want 2-drops that kind of have some relevance later, which this guy does. Temple's also nice as fixing. My deck is pretty color intensive. I'm going to take the 2-drop. And now Rally Maneuver. Could be pretty good. Gives me some life. Sylvan Shepherd's okay, but I don't need to take any 3-drops that aren't premium because I have so many already. This is technically like a 3-drop, but I kind of view it in a different vein. Okay, this card's reasonable. Bouncing my Priest to replay it is nice. I have Owlbear as well. There's also 2-drop, but I just need removal spells. I don't currently have any. So getting a removal spell is nice. And we'll just take a 2-drop. Keen-Eared Sentry. Just 1 less toughness. I think I'll take the Bard. It can gain me life. Like my plan currently is just play a bunch of value creatures that draw me extra cards. So I have 5 2-for-1 creatures, and then I just gain life and don't die, and I'll be fine. And then I win with You Meet in a Tavern by just attacking all. Rally Maneuver is kind of similar in that it makes my combats really good. Okay, and now I'll take the Herd Gorger. I already have 1 Cleric, and I have 3 2-drops now, so I don't think I really need that. Getting another life gain creature is good. I'll just take the Gretchen out of respect. Respect for the name. So yeah, we're in good shape here. I think the deck is looking great. We have 18 playables already. How many creatures? 13 and 5 is the distribution, but we probably can cut this Mace. And we might even be able to cut You Happen on a Glade. Like, our cards are fairly interchangeable. Does You Happen only return a permanent? Yeah, so we couldn't return, like, You Meet in a Tavern. And all of our other cards are very replaceable. Again, just don't want to pass any green cards to the person next to us. Send them the wrong message. Okay, what do we got here? Well, a very good 2-drop in the Intrepid Outlander. Just a 2-mana 2/3 is already good enough. And then the Venture part is nice as well. Mace could be a card that I play. I just am not, like, forcing myself to play that or anything. Black Dragon's great. Warlock class is okay. This card's reasonable. Evolving Wilds would just be good for fixing, but easily just jamming the 2-drop here. I am a fan of You Happen on a Glade. Of this card, Triumphant Adventurer. But I think I'm going to take You Hear Something on Watch. I could see both modes being relevant. I'm playing a pretty defensive deck. I like this guy too.
Hey Nikolai, really enjoying you break down the new set.
Thanks so much, D. Carmona. I really appreciate that. I'm just going to take Evolving Wilds here. Helps my deck with some fixing. Just having a copy of that really makes the mana better. Like, I've got equal mana, so like 8/8 plus an Evolving Wilds gives me 9 of each source instead of having to go short on a source. And I don't need another 3-drop. Veteran Dungeoneer. Definitely a reasonable 4-drop for my deck. Makes these planar allies a little bit more effective. There is a Rally Maneuver, but I already have one of those. And again, I want to keep my creature count high. I have 4 non-creatures. I really want to make this card good. I wish I had... I could have taken a second one earlier, but I did just take 2 priests to start my draft, which is also totally fine. The Spare Dagger is okay. Rally Maneuver is okay, but I'm just going to take the Veteran Dungeoneer. Boom! Let's go. Oh, it's so tough, though. Because there's also an Owlbear in this pack. But this is kind of just the You Meet in the Tavern deck. So I think I'm just going to go for it. This is like the card that I really wanted. Because I'm 75% to hit 2 creatures when I have 18 or more in the deck. And that's currently, I'm on track for that. I really think this is good in the deck. I do like Owlbear a lot, but I do have 3 5-drops. And I think this card's going to be really good. And I think it's cool to try out. So we're going to take that. Underdark Basilisk. It is a nice defensive body. There's the Prowler, but I don't need 3 drops, as I said. There's Bag of Holding, but I don't need that because I kind of have some nice card advantage already. Let's just get the Basilisk. I could take the Hawk. It lets me consistently venture. There's also another Cleric, but I think 1 Cleric is the sweet spot. And I kind of want to try the Hawk. Chips in. Wow, Wizard class is here. I can't splash it because I would need more than the sources that I have. If I'd taken the, I could have potentially splashed blue if I'd really gone for it by taking the, like, Dragon Temple thing. I'll take this card. Maybe I want removal. I already have a mace. I don't even own a mace. Deep cut reference. Or Gladen. Not really. Wow. A blue splash would have actually been pretty good in this deck, I think, potentially. Maybe I should have... Or, I don't know. I could have maybe gotten away with it. This is 17 creatures. I mean, 17 non-creatures. I do not have a lot of removal. Ooh, the Knoll Hunter came back over the champion. This card's reasonable. Okay. So I want as many creatures as possible to maximize these you meet in a taverns. So the trap is probably going to get cut, and I'm probably going to cut the Ranger's Hawk. Prowlers, interesting. So I like 8/8/1. I mean 8/8 Evolving Wilds. I don't really care about a 2/3. I think this card's probably better. I'm trying to sort my non-creatures over there. So this is, I'm definitely playing 17 lands. What are the flex spots? So what are the cards I don't want to cut? I could see myself cutting an Underdark Basilisk or 2. I could see cutting the Direwolf Prowler. Everything else is a lock. So I have 3 flex slots. I could put a Ranger's Hawk in. But I have 15 creatures here, and I really want to get to 18 for you meet in a tavern so that I have 75% chance of drawing 2 cards with it. So I would like to add all creatures here, which means I don't have room for the mace, which is fine because the you meet in a tavern kind of replaces that. And so all my cards, 4 of my non-creature spells help me mass pump, and one of them's a removal spell that I just think I need. Okay, so if these all have to be creatures, Ranger's Hawk is just clunky, slow, really tough to use, to venture consistently, and it's only a 1/1, so I don't really want that card. So I don't want these 3 drops. I have 4 2-drops right now. Getting up to 6 would be nice. And what's my best other card? I think Sylvan Shepherd is worse than the Direwolf Prowler. So I think 1, 2, 3. I could also splash blue thanks to these 2 cards. Just for Gretchen. Or I guess I would have had to take the actual good blue cards that I saw. But I don't really think this is a deck that needs to splash or wants to particularly. I think this is going to be the build. Just a lot of value. Then you meet in a tavern for the win. We'll see how it does. Also, Rally Maneuver is good with the first strike Death Touch combo. But yeah, this should be good. This card's potentially interesting, but I think we're just going to run it like this. I'll see you folks in the matches. Before I get to the matches, I want to give a huge shout out to all of the patrons who support my work at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas, and special shout out to those at the credits level. Now is a great time to join the Patreon, with Adventures in the Forgotten Realms right around the corner, because the Patreon is where you will find my card by card grade spreadsheet for the format, also known as a tier list. So if that's something that interests you and supporting my content is something that interests you, then the Patreon is a great intersection of those things. And there's also a host of other cool rewards on the Patreon as well. I truly appreciate everyone who supports my videos on the Patreon. Thanks for helping the channel continue to grow and thrive, and let me upgrade my equipment with microphones and cameras and things like that. It really does make a big difference, and I appreciate you. Without further ado, let's get to the matches. Welcome, and we're gonna keep this hand. I just realized that I've played 3 drafts of this format, and in none of those drafts have I had a single rare in my deck. And I'm just like, what the heck, man? Come now, bro. Okay, I'm going to play the Basilisk. Even though it'll trade off with anything in the late game, this card will also like kind of grow into a threat in the late game. So I kind of like that. It's interesting, though. Definitely a close choice. They've actually been going pretty well. Ooh, ouch. Okay, so they kill my guy. Scry. Well, that makes it easy. All my cards cantrip. I'm just chilling. Wow. Wow. What? Who does that? I am flabbergasted. I'm just going to play a couple of these guys because both of them would be fine trades with the Yuang Ti. But I'm really confused. Sure. So next turn I can Spoils of the Hunt this thing. They're probably going to put a counter on something. I'll trade these off. Let's go for it. It could get me blown out, but... I want to thin my deck first. Well, at least we didn't have to draw those 4 lands. Maybe I should have just gone for +2/+2 next turn. I guess yeah, that was probably a bad play of you Brawl, because I didn't need to refill. It should be the last card you play in your hand most times. It worked out really well though. That was pretty much how I envisioned the deck playing out. Was I just literally played a 2-for-1 creature like 4 turns in a row, and then my opponent just traded with them and I won. So that's why Priest of the Old Lore is good. Of the Old Way or whatever it's called. Not Shaman of the Old Path. It's Priest of Old Lore. Priest of Ancient Lore. Pretty good. Okay, nice hand here. Again, with the life gain. Depending on what color they play, I might not play this on turn 2. Well, now I'm playing it on turn 2. If you watched my last draft video, one of the things that I did when my opponent played a Plains was I never ran out my Wizard class until I could activate it because of that exact situation. Because I kind of expect most of my white opponents to have one of these. And it's super bad if they do what I just did. I don't venture a ton, so I think I'm going to go for Fandelver. I have some venturing, but not infinite or anything. I could have also gone for the Annihilation one. That would have been potentially very good. I didn't even think about it, but that might have been better. Though I think this one's fine. So far, I've like kind of gotten a little bit of value from this guy, a little bit of value from this guy, good value from this guy, so I'm just like ahead on cards naturally. You mean a tavern's going to be very good. I think I'm going to use it to find creatures, though. Even though it would give +10/+10 to my massive squad. I have a second one, luckily. Having two makes me feel much better about using the first one. I did lose a little bit of value from this scry by having to shuffle the land back in. But I think it's not it's not the same as like losing my turn by just not doing anything on turn 4 or whatever. So I think playing on curve was still more valuable. I don't even have good attacks if I give my team +2/+2. What? Do they really need double black for something? Oh, do they get to keep a 4/4 version of it? That would be really cool if that was how that interaction worked. Wow, I think that might be how that interaction works. They just get a 4/4 flyer? Do they? I don't know. Is someone in chat a rules expert on that sort of thing? Well, this card really makes me happy. So good. Like, this is target creature becomes, and then you get a copy of it. So I think they could have kept the 4/4. Because that's actually a sweet interaction. Okay. If I hit a land, I might just be able to kill them. Okay, so I have 5 creatures. That's plus 10 plus 10. So they have some easy blocks, but this thing makes it a little bit more complicated. What do I want to do? Do I want to try and draw 2 creatures, or do I want to go for the Alpha Strike? They're at 20. So I don't think Alpha Strike is correct. They go block, triple block this guy. Hmm. Wow, that card's just an embarrassment. Yikes. They kept it on top. Hmm. Next turn I'll attack with these 3 guys. Maybe I'll bard this guy up first. One of these days I'm going to high roll on you, beating a tavern, and hit like 4 creatures. Because I built my deck to maximize it. And I have other mass pump spells. I have my you see something on watch. And another one of these. So I know 3 of the cards on the bottom are lands, so I have only 7 lands left in the deck. Actually 6 because Evolving Wilds. So 6 lands left in the deck. He'll know something's up, I'm pretty sure. Maybe. If they were going to bounce one of my creatures, I didn't want them to be able to bounce this guy or not take 5. That's why I did it with this thing. Because that was the only card I was really afraid of, was 2-mana bounce spell. And so those were my only 3 options, was a Death Toucher, this guy, or this guy, and so I chose this guy. I chose this guy, I mean. And I didn't use this because that also gets really wrecked by the bounce spell, whereas this thing was going to trade 1 for 1 with this if, yeah. They didn't equip. I wonder what that means. Oh, they're going to use this guy. Three, 4, 5, 6. I don't think I need to use Rally Maneuver to save a Priest of Ancient Lore. So this was 8 mana to replace itself, and this was 3. Sure. Got him. Got him. You Enter a Tavern so far has been medium. I haven't gotten to use the overrun effect yet, but I feel like that's going to be useful at some point. And it's like, I don't know, Owlbear is a card that I know how good it's going to be. Owlbear would have been a solid pick, I think, but I think this one's also nice. I just have very good creatures, so finding two of them is generally going to be pretty nice. Okay, I go first. Like, look how much value is in this hand. This can be a 2-for-1. This is always a 2-for-1. This can be like a 2-for-1 or more if it remains unchecked. This is a really good card because it can like enable attacks or things like that. If I go 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, I get to venture with this guy. Nice. I realized that I forgot to switch my mode. Hello, everybody. I'm much bigger now. A little bit behind the scenes action. Asteroid Down with a very good question in the chat. If Magic the Gathering made a cereal, what would it be called? That is a tough question. I feel like it would be a sugary cereal to reflect the fun and spice of life that Magic brings. Maybe it would be called... The word magic would probably be in the cereal name, I'd have to imagine. So, maybe Magic Bites? Tough question. Okay. When they trade 1-for-1 with my creatures, I'm generally pretty okay with that, I think. Cleric isn't as good against black-red because they don't have enchantments. But as you saw last game, killing their wizard class was absolutely brutal for them. They're magically delicious. Mana Bites. Magic the cereals. uh. If they want to equip this, I will happily trade my 2-1 for it, and they can venture. I think I'm going to go for Fandelver again. Hope to scry a land to the top or a priest to the Forgotten Realms. Land is good. Cereals, they're gathering. I love non sequitur questions like that in the chat. It's so fun. Just like questions you've never seen before in your life that are just kind of lighthearted and interesting to think about. I don't know. Okay, I do not love this card. I think it's kind of bad. It's like a 5-mana 4/4 is just not good. First time seeing Planar Ally. I really like Planar Ally. Like, it has to be answered or they're going to lose the game, which I like in a card. Especially at common. Like, when you can play a common and they have to answer it or lose, it's like, okay, they answered it, but they actually had to have that card in order to, like, stay in the game, kinda. And they used a premium removal spell for it. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of sad that they killed it. But, ooh, nice. Just look at, I'm just like pulling ahead. I'm one of the ways you can think about it is we each have the same number. They have one more land in play, so that's one card. But like, so like, look, so they have 6 lands in play and I have 5, so that's one more card. So let's just imagine they have 2 cards in hand instead and only the same number of lands as me. 3 creatures, 3 creatures. I have 2 extra cards and an extra creature in play, and it's just because this thing cantripped, this thing cantripped, and then they'll have their draw step. So that's it. I'm just 2 cards ahead. Yeah, but I was just explaining something to chat. No need to get snippy with me. I can also get snippy. Celebratory Hedron. How do you like me now, friend? I'm just going to play this guy. Keep it low-key. Don't want to trade this thing for their 2/2 Death Touch. Sure. If that's how they spend their turn, I'm going to pull vastly ahead. I'm probably going to use this to buff up my priest when I attack with it. Like, planar ally has to be answered. Oh my gosh, they have another... Their deck has 3 Dragonfires in it. That's pretty good. Like, that's pretty nice. Definitely a sizable effect there. Trading Fangblade for this would be good for them. You just try when I'm kind of ahead, I like to just avoid giving my opponents good trades because that's how you can get back into the game a lot of the time. Does Black Red have any enchantments to speak of? I don't think so. I'm also glad that I haven't been trying to go for this rally maneuver. Just playing it patiently. I'm just going to get this guy down. Okay, they're out of gas. Warlock class. Good point. That is an uncommon. And if I top deck my +2/+2 for everyone, I'll want this guy in play. Like, I just have 2 extra creatures in play on them. Granted, this guy doesn't do much right now. And 2 cards in hand. Triple Dragonfire. Yikes, they killed all of my venturing guys. Knock yourself out, buddy. And they're tapped out, which makes... And they have no cards in hand, which is really nice for me. I forgot where they scryed. I didn't see that, I don't think. We'll see if this changes anything for us. It's much less suspicious if I attack all out. So I am giving them a favorable trade on a couple of these guys, potentially. But Rally Maneuver is going to be a game changer here. Because I'll get to take out their 2 biggest creatures, hopefully. Maybe. I don't know. It might not be the best attack I've ever made. I'm hoping to take out this guy and keep most of my stuff around. Yeah, so they're making some funky blocks. I'm trying to disguise what I might have. I think they suspect +1/+1, so I can give this thing +2/+0 and first strike, and this thing +0/+2 and lifelink. I felt like that was a safe time to do that. I lost this 1-3 and this 2-1, but the 2-1 traded with a 1-1. And I got to kill their 6-5, which was going to be a pain. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't the best. It felt pretty reasonable at the time. I felt like if I attacked with just the owlbear, they were going to be able to sniff it out. Oh, that's a good draw. I'm going to play that now. So if I attack with everything, how do they block to minimize damage? They go block there, block there, block there, and they take 3, 4, 5, 6. Or they could go eat this. Yeah, I'm not going to do the all-out attack. Just attack with the 2 4/4s. Especially because this thing's up. So killing their mana sink is nice. Without the 4/4, they can't do a lot of their blocking. Oh, good point, TK, and that's another enchantment. Ooh, nice. Maybe I was supposed to go for this thing first and then go for this thing the following turn. That might have been better. Ouch. Not kind. Owlbear followed by this, though. I don't know, because then they wouldn't have traded their 2/2 Death Touch off. Well, that's got to be lethal, right? So 2 of my creatures are getting through. That's on a minimum. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this has trample. Got him. They had a lot of dragon stuff. Whew. Close. Hard fought. Hard fought. I mean, I didn't really ever feel like I was in danger of losing. But if I'd drawn a couple lands there at the end, maybe they could have got something to going. I don't know. I was in pretty good shape. I did make that one attack that maybe was weird, but I felt like I didn't want to get potentially blown out if they drew a removal spell. And getting them low so that they're in danger of me just top decking a pump spell for my team is really good. Whew. Well, we're keeping this. None of our cantrip creatures, but got some good stuff. The fact that they killed both my planar allies was annoying, but we're fine. I'm glad I have the Prowler. If they have to Dragonfire it, they have to Dragonfire it. I think they might have Dragonfire. I'm going to be in fine shape. I'll just block the Rust Monster. Okay. Makes sense. So I'm going to take 4, 5, 6, 7 damage this turn, but then I can start gaining back life with this guy, and I don't know. And this is going to gain me life. Okay. Trade with this thing. What the heck is this? No! This did not line up well for your hero. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I'm mega dead. Oh, that's just how it goes sometimes. Unfortunate. If I don't know. I don't think I could have done anything differently there. They just had a really good start. Their rust monster was really good with the fencing rapiers. Was I on the play that game? Because I think being on the play might have made a difference. I also just didn't draw my, like, cantripping life gain creatures. Gosh. That was a little tough. Rust Monster was pretty effective there. On the draw with a priest to play on turn 3. If I hit a land, I'm going to keep it. If I draw a forest, it's great. If I draw any land, it's great. If I don't draw a land, it's not great, but I don't like going down resources. One land leads to another. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So I'm blocking this, because otherwise they can choose to sacrifice to that anyway. Land! I'm dead. I am dead. It happens, though. I kept a hand that needed to draw a forest, and I didn't. Or just, I need to draw a couple lands or some white cards or something. And I've just drawn a greens card every single turn. Yep, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe I'm supposed to mulligan that. It did need a lot of help. Huh. My deck does have a lot of card advantage in it, so mulliganing is probably less punishing. I'm definitely on the extreme end of keeping hands, which I think is generally correct. But in that spot, it was it's hard to not be results oriented based on how it went. So like after the fact, it's really hard to determine whether it was correct. Uses an easy keep, both colors and 2-drops. I'm going to play this guy first because he can attack better if I do get an attack off. Delver's Torch could be pretty good in the set if there's some evasion going around. I'm fine trading my 2-3 for their 3-2. They want to equip, I get to trade. And it's a favorable trade for me. Paladin class, that card's really good. I'll hit him for 4. Keep the pressure up. When you keep the pressure up, it makes your combat tricks better. Ah! Could have attacked with the Death Toucher too, but I kind of want to save that to trade with that guy. This is kind of a threatening effect. Luckily I can kill stuff with my Death Toucher guy. Still. Gonna kill that guy. I would wait, but I can't because this thing makes stuff cost more to cast on their turn. Attack with 1. Play the Herd, Gorger, because otherwise they'll just minimus it and attack me. And this thing can be really good next turn. I'm sure they're going to minimus it. Nope. Not even going to minimus it. That was a good draw. Probably pick Tomb of Annihilation. Got the win. Let's go. So I lost to them having a Rust monster take over into a questionable mulligan decision so far. And I've won with just most games being relatively value-driven until I draw my You Meet in a Tavern. I hope it's become clear, looking at this deck and how it plays out, why I don't care about +2 Mace. Because I already have 2 copies of You Meet in a Tavern, which does like exactly what that effect would do for me anyway. And I just want to keep my creature count high for if I cast the Form a Party section of this card. Ugh. Getting some early pressure down is nice. I wasn't at the bottom of gold, was I? This is a good hand. Hello. Double pack tactics is a good thing to have in the opener. Especially with this guy to follow up, so I'll get to trigger both of them. This can trade with this thing. They don't have dragons for buyer, it doesn't look like. Sure. I could go for the Bard next turn, or I could just play a more defensive game, play this thing. But Bard lets me trigger both of these, which is nice. Certainly some upside there. And it still holds up both their guys. But if they kill this thing, I'll just trade there. And go back to the value plan. Okay. I think I am going to go for this, because I can go to the mine now. Get a scry. Hopefully hit a land. Not a land. I do like that card, but I have to hit a land next turn, hopefully. And now I have a better blocker for the future. This thing can trade there. If they kill this thing, I take 4, 5, 6, 7, but I have life gain in my hand. Oh, that's really good for me. Okay. Because that minimizes what can go wrong. Okay, that's huge. That's absolutely massive. Big swing there. I guess they're missing a color, so they're kind of on the back foot anyway. But now I've got a lot of protection up. So generally in Limited, you don't want to trade a 4-3 for a 3-3. It's just not a good trade. Here, I might actually go the treasure path. Keep the pressure up. I should have attacked first, technically. I decided to attack after I played this guy. I should have planned that out in advance. So technically, that was just a bad play. From a technical standpoint, like the things were done correctly, just in the wrong order, which can make a difference, and it's just good to get into good habits. Why are people playing this card so much? I don't understand. Yo no comprende. I don't really want to use my treasure on this thing because I'll be able to cast this soon enough. I want to be able to cast that guy early. Like getting a 7/6 down is really nice. That was good for them. I didn't want to have to draw a land to cast my spell, and now that yeah, so a land can help me cast this one. They're starting to make a comeback for sure. That was a really good discard spell for them to have. Good timing on it. Unlucky on that land. I like gaining a life. Keeps me feeling a little safer. Sure. Sure. That's a good draw. So if I double venture... No, I'm just going to attack with this guy. So I kill them next turn. So I just have to survive and have them not kill one of these guys, because I can use the temple to make each player lose a life. Oh, but they do have this thing up. Okay, so the way this temple works... I believe they're dead, because they don't have a card in hand, and so they have to... I think it's if they just don't discard a card or something. Easy double block. I would triple block if they had a card in hand. It's crazy. I could almost complete the dungeon in one turn, which is funny. I actually could if I go Oubliette. Which is wild. I kind of want to just do it because it's super sweet. Got the job done. Unless this thing gives reach and I look like a fool. Wow, I can't believe it. I completed it in one turn. That's awesome. That was a cool moment. Look at playing our ally, doing his work. Doing the work. That was a good game. I think that might have been the first game that I played where I didn't cast, or the way that I won where I didn't cast You Come to a Tavern at least once. 5 wins again. Let's see if I can break this threshold. I've gotten to 5 wins in my last couple drafts. Hopefully I can get past that here. Still yet to have a rare in my deck, or a mythic. Just all commons and uncommons. Oh yeah, this is a good hand. So maybe I can get to a max win run. I believe in life after love. Something, something. I really don't think I'm strong enough, yeah. Achievement unlocked. Hello, Basilisk. I will make this trade happily. Come at me, broheem, as they say. Two good draws in a row. I can double block this guy. They could have removal, but then they won't have removal for this guy, probably. I just really like playing our ally. It feels like if they don't kill it right now, I'm just in such good shape. I don't know. Maybe they have you hear something on watch. Maybe they don't. We'll find out, I guess. I'm going to go through. Yep, they do have it. In a mine, where a million diamonds shine. This Death Touch is a little annoying. Uh-oh. That is not good. No bueno. Uh-oh. Seeking to learn why the ancestors have fallen silent, you've made your way to their ancient cairns. As you venture deeper under the boughs of Neverwinter Wood, arrows in tree trunks suggest you might not be welcome. I would love to draw, like, my owl bears and my priests. That is a decent draw. They have a massive creature? Oh yeah, that's not good. This is double strike. Wow. That's actually so good. This rare, I think this rare is like absurd. It gets 4 counters if I trade with their hill giant. I just can't do that. Well, then they had to ruin it by playing this guy. I don't think he's very good, generally. I guess if they have some of the unicorns, maybe, but... This is double strike. I can deal 5 to it. If it got power to go to difference, so that's 4 counters. I would have loved to trade, but I just can't, or I just lose. This is just tough. Oh, so this thing would be a 7/7. Yep. They just have, like... Yeah, my deck with some rares. Or with one rare. And, wait. What? What are they doing? Why are they taunting me? Why? Opponent! What are you doing? Oh, man, I need this thing to live. But what are you doing? You could have just killed me. My creatures are not that big, and you have a massive double... Oh, they have that thing. Why would they ever... What are you... Ah! Oh, my gosh. That was... So I have 5 creatures. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 creatures. So the bare minimum damage they're doing is 3, 6, 10. And that's if I block all their stuff. Which means I would be blocking their... Like... I get so unbelievably owned. What are they doing? I mean, sure, it worked out for him, but I'm just flabbergasted. Did they misclick? Like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. And they didn't even attack with that guy. Oh my gosh. I am confused. Opponent, why? Opponent. Explain yourself. It just makes no sense. Oh my gosh, it's so sad too, because I'm just like, oh, I'm getting toasted by this thing. I feel taunted almost. If they attack with everything. Joke's on you, opponent. Can't roll well. You might have a sick deck, but rolling is not your strong suit. Okay, so they'll get plus one. And this thing has trample, so that's why we have to make that as small as possible. Oh, the old 12-9 trampler. Nice little lineup there. This is 24. I don't think I can live here. We'll do our best, though. So 24 minus... as much toughness as I can muster, while still blocking their other cards. Maybe I had to chump this thing. I think I mean, I'm obviously dead no matter what, but... Yeah. Wow. Well... Oh, I keep getting stuck at this 5-win threshold. Though, to be fair, one of those losses was a bad mulligan decision. I think I've come to the conclusion that it was bad, based on the way it played out. Because that's like, my deck is good enough that I probably don't have to put myself in that spot. But, what the... Ah, 5 wins! The threshold! I will cross it eventually. Oh my gosh. It would just be so glorious to cross that. But I think the deck performed really well, and I was really happy with how things went. Overall, I think the creature count made the... I had 18 creatures, and I think that's a good number for you meet in a tavern. And you really have to make some... You really want to make sure you get a lot of creatures for this guy, so that you can play the second mode and have it work out. Like, my opponent played it and got 1 creature, which is just not good. It still worked out for them, but still. Then, like, Mass Pump spell to complement it is pretty nice, and Rally Maneuver was solid. Spirit Boils Hunt was just a necessary removal. Planar Ally, pretty solid. The Giant Herd Gorder, pretty solid. I really liked Planar Ally, actually. Just, like, force them to deal with it, or that you basically kind of start to take over. Owlbear was great. Priest was great. I really liked Inspiring Bard. The Direwolf actually overperformed what I thought it would do. And then, obviously, Dawnbringer, just destroying their wizard class. That one game was clutch. Intrepid Outlander, great stuff as well. If you did make it all the way to the end of this video and you enjoyed it, remember to hit that like button to show me that you want to see more of this type of video in the future, and also to just help other people find the video. And also subscribe to the channel for more content. Click that little bell icon if you would like to get notified when I post future videos. And then comment below with your questions, thoughts, and feedback. Leave hashtag no rares, no problem to let me know you made it all the way to the end of the video, or leave hashtag Tavern Time. Actually, Tavern Time is much better. So hashtag Tavern Time to let me know you made it all the way to the end of the video, because this was really a you meet in a tavern deck embodied. So hashtag Tavern Time to let me know you made it all the way to the end of the video. It's always cool seeing which folks are watching all the way to the end, and I really do appreciate all of you folks. It's really nice to have you. If you would like to find more of my stuff, you can find the Twitch stream, the Discord server, my articles, all linked in the description down below. You can also support my work directly via the Patreon at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas, linked below as well. And if you do become a patron, you can gain access to my card-by-card grade spreadsheet for Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, among other cool rewards to help support my work and also get something back in return. It really is appreciated. There's a lot of cool rewards that I've got over there on the Patreon as my way of saying thank you. You could also just do a direct donation if that's something you prefer. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can support my work at no extra cost to yourself. Simply link your Amazon account and your Twitch account, or make a Twitch account. It's free to do that. And then you can subscribe to my channel for free with Prime Gaming. So it's a way to support my work at no extra cost to yourself with just less than 5 minutes of effort. You don't even have to. You don't even have to do anything else. You don't even have to watch the Twitch stream. It all goes to the same pool that helps me make this content. You can also, I feel like I have one more thing. Maybe I don't. Oh, yeah, you can check out my draft guide. I have that linked down below as well. And yeah, that's all of the stuff I've got for you. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, watching it as much as I enjoyed making it, and I will talk to you next time.